Leo, this is your May tarot reading. It strikes me as deeply psychological. It also strikes me as difficult to understand. But I am a Leo. And therefore I do understand it with reference to myself. Now I'm going to try and make this as open to all Leos as possible. But because of the difficulty, some of the contradictions in it, I think I do have to draw on my own experience. So forgive me if that doesn't fit you. You look at that central card, the Hanged Man, you're hanging around waiting for things to happen. And that's been going on quite a bit for you, Leo, hasn't it? I've been feeling like I'm in limbo for a long time. Partially I was forced into it because of the health restrictions, and to a certain degree, since, well, the health restrictions haven't ended completely in Indonesia, but the response after the health restrictions by the economy has still put me in limbo, unable to travel as freely as I would like. But I think there's more to it than that. I think these are self-imposed restrictions as well, because you're waiting around to see the lie of the land. You're waiting around to gain information. You know there's major change coming, but you don't quite understand all of that change. And you're just waiting, and I don't think that's a bad thing to be doing. Bottom right hand corner we have the Nine of Wands, reminiscing over the past, looking if you can try and understand the changes that are coming by reference to the past. And the truth is you can't. But it's a 9, which is nearly a 10, and a 10 does say there's changes coming, so there are big changes coming, both to you and to the world. Your current energy is that of the King of Swords. King of Pentacles. Ah, yes, the money that you've been waiting on is coming to you. You're quite sophisticated with money, aren't you, Leo? You know, I always say when I talk about money, I'm not giving financial advice, but you know that the changes that are coming are to do with global finances, don't you? You don't quite know what's happening. And in the future we have the Wheel of Fortune. That's a cycle coming to an end, a new cycle beginning. Remember that 9 of Wands. I said it does mean there's change. Well, this is the change, and it should bring luck with it. You're being asked to take something of a middle ground, not to jump too quickly at things, to try and see all sides, because we have this Temperance card, which I'm certain is about you taking a balanced view. And if you take a balanced view, it'll lead to the outcome. But I think there is a danger of you being bought off by the trinkets of materialism. And you know, you might see the trinkets of materialism, this money that's going to come to you, as being everything you want. But I don't think you do, Leo. I think you realise there's more to the world. Those are the profound changes that have been happening to you. And you actually turn your back on them and walk away. Now, you might see that as a bad thing, and if you do, you know, you can influence, you can change these cards. You are being offered great bounty. Great bounty. And so you can go with that bounty. But I think you know there's something even deeper on offer, and that's why you turn your back and walk away. Let's unpack these cards. Have I got it all wrong? Or am I just being too personal here? All energy, Leo, is that of the Hanged Man. Has it been enforced upon you, this waiting around? Well, you know, you might have been suffering like me from the health restrictions, unable to move. But I think you're doing this yourself because you know you don't have all the information on which to act, and so you're just waiting. You know there are profound changes going on in the world and going on in your life, and you're waiting to see what these changes are. And I think this whole reading is cautioning you for patience. Don't jump. Don't jump. There is a greater goal that's going to be exposed to you, Leo, but you need to work it out and you need to be patient. And it's very difficult to be patient when you know that change is coming, isn't it? But change is coming, Leo. Massive change is coming for you. You're being offered some wonderful, wonderful things, and May is when it happens. It may not feel like it happens in May. It may feel like, you're just beginning to get a glimpse of what it is. But you've been getting a glimpse for a long time, haven't you, Leo? You do know what it is in your heart. And Leo, in the past you could sense change. You could sense that you were very nearly there. Hence this hanging around. You've been looking at the past, looking at your successes and failures, without realising that the past tells you nothing about the future. You've probably gone through a dark night of the soul like I have, and of course you've learnt a lot from that. But what you need to learn from it is the energy, not the actions, because this is fundamental change. Fundamental change, the fundamental change has already occurred, but there's more going to happen again. And the past can't tell you much about it. Yes, you can look over your past, you can repent for what you think you've done wrong, you can try and discover your shadow self, you can try and unite yourself. But ultimately, Leo, you already know. You already know. For so long, Leo, you've been short of money, been short of material wealth, been short of the trinkets of this world, and you've seen money as being your solution. And the truth is, you are quite financially sophisticated, even though you say you're not. So I will always say, don't listen to me for financial advice, but it's not because of I don't know. It's because I've looked at all markets and can see that they're all rigged. There is no underlying economic logic to how any market operates. It's all betting, which to us Muslims is haram. And you're going to be offered wealth. The wealth is going to come. But you're going to turn your back on it. Because you know there is something very wrong about it. You know money is just created by man. It's not created by God. And you're going to focus on other things. And yeah, you are financially sophisticated. But in a very strange way, Leo. Leo, the changes that are taking place, both globally and personally to you, they've already happened, and you know they've already happened. You know the end of an old order is in sight and a new order is coming. And that's why you're sort of hanging around. But in the future, you're going to have another change, another turnaround in your life. And the issue is, have you learnt, this is a mini cycle, not the major cycle. The major cycle's already happened. This is a mini cycle. And the universe is saying to you, everything you want can be yours. You've already understood this, Leo. But there's something more, isn't there? And if you've really learnt that lesson, then you will be blessed with even more than you could possibly imagine. So much luck, if you like, is going to come to you if you've truly learnt these lessons, Leo. And you're sitting there in your apartment in Los Angeles saying that this Leo up a remote mountain in Java has completely lost it. What the hell is he talking about? But deep down you know there's something there, don't you? You see, the changes you need to make or keep with are those of forgiveness, understanding, love, taking the middle ground, not being judgmental, of understanding. And you're being urged to do that. You're being urged to take this middle ground, not to do anything in excess, because we have this temperance card. And if you do that, the outcome is going to be very, very surprising for you. Now there's one last twist in your mission on earth, if you like. Because what you're going to be offered, I believe, is getting closer to God. Now you might just see it as the universe, but you're being offered divine understanding. But the last twist is you're going to be offered everything you want. You're going to be offered wealth, you're going to be offered fame, you're going to be offered fortune, you're going to be offered love, you're going to be offered happiness. Will you grab it? After all, you've wanted it for so long. But it would divert you from what you really know life is about. You're going to be offered all these things because you're also being offered the absolute ultimate. What are you going to do, Leo? Leo, nobody would blame you for taking all the bounty of the universe that's being offered to you. Fame, fortune, money, love, happiness. But most likely you don't. Most likely you walk away. Because you know there is an even greater prize. You look at this, the Eight of Cups. He's down by that beautiful lake, but he's walking away from it, walking up a mountain which is going to be difficult, walking into the unknown. But he knows that's his life's purpose. Is that what you're going to do, Leo? I hope it's what I'm going to do. I hope it's what I'm going to do. But you are going to be offered the ultimate diversion. You really are. It's up to you, Leo. Nobody would criticise you for grabbing at all the blessings of the universe. Let's see if I've got this right, eh? So why are you walking away from everything you've ever wanted, and you are going to be offered it? Why are you walking away from that, Leo? So I'm going to get clarification on this outcome. First card we have is the Queen of Wands. Somebody who works with people. She's quite loving, but she's also somebody that manipulates people. The second card we have is the Page of Swords. Somebody that's seeking out new information. So being offered all the blessings of the world isn't enough for you. And the final card is the Nine of Swords. And that's a card of nightmares and fear. So you're fearful about grabbing all the bounty of the world. How terribly interesting, Leah. Let's look at these. So if you remember, I'm clarifying why you're walking away. And the first card we get is the Queen of Wands. She's a queen that knows how to get the best in people. Somebody that inspires people. A queen of action. But the darker side of her is that she has a tendency to use people. And I think you're beginning to understand that if you are offered everything in the world, others have to suffer. And you don't want that. You don't want to use other people. You simply want to submit to the universe or God or whatever you might want to call it. I think that's what's going on here. And moreover than you recognising that being offered this bounty means that other people will lose out, is you're still searching for information, you're still seeking something new. For me, it's getting closer to Allah or God. But there's something more. You know there's something more than the trinkets of materialism. You've seen through it all, including happiness. You know, I'm not necessarily saying that you're going to become an aesthetic, although maybe that's what you're being called to do. But I certainly think that you want a more simple life. A life devoted to others, a life devoted to the environment, a life devoted to God. And that's what you're really seeking, Leo. There is a final twist to this walking away, and that is the Nine of Swords, the card of nightmares. And so you're walking away because you're having nightmares. Now, I can only talk about myself here. Why are you having nightmares? Well, I did have a degree of fame and fortune in the past, and I was deeply unhappy. And I think you're beginning to realise that that maybe comes with the territory, and that true happiness comes from devoting your life to others, devoting your life to the environment, devoting your life to God. And this is what you're going to do, I think, Leo. As I say, nobody would blame you for not doing it. Nobody would blame you for not doing it. And you're being offered the opportunity to have your old life back, and nobody would blame you for grabbing it. But there's so much more on offer here, Leo. There really is. Leo, what a profound reading for May. What a profound reading for May. You know change is coming. In fact, you actually know the change has already come, but there's more change. This isn't just to you, this is global change. You've looked back at the past trying to understand what's happening, but it doesn't really tell you. All you can follow is your feelings, follow your heart. And you know, you're going to be offered all the bounty of the world, including wealth, which is something you've been lacking for a long time. You're going to be offered everything you could possibly want. And I think you're going to walk away from it, because you've spent so long going through dark night of the soul, understanding yourself, understanding your shadow self, hanging around for something to happen. And you know there's more to life. You know there's much more to life. And you're being urged to take a temperate middle ground. Lead a more temperate life. Take the middle ground. But you are being offered the excesses, the bounty of wealth, of fame, of fortune, of everything you've ever wanted. But that's the final twist to prevent you from having I wouldn't say a oneness with God, but being much closer to God, being much closer to the universe. So there's an even greater prize there. And I think you're going to take it. You're going to walk away from the trinkets you're being offered. And in doing so, you're going to find your true life's purpose, Leo. Nobody would blame you for grabbing everything you've always wanted in life. And believe me, you are going to be offered it. But if you don't, there's even more there, Leo. There's even more.